Doing Raven fans, Oriole fans, thank you for joining us today on the Ravery Sports Podcast, Baltimore Sports Podcast for fans like me. First of all, let's get the business out of that we have. So thank you very much for joining us here today. See at the bottom of the screen, there's this notary services. At the bottom, there's notary services / Facebook. That is my notary business. We will come out into the Shenandoah Valley area. That has been growing as well. So thank you very much for those of you that have reached out, that have sent me messages, that are looking for notary work to be done. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Definitely check us out. Our website. So we are actually have a website. We have Ravens and Orioles merchandise. We're getting Maryland merchandise on there as well. Most of it, if you're on the site, you see a lot of the Ravens and Orioles stuff as well. But we do have Maryland Terp stuff. We're starting to get that in if you're interested in that. So we definitely have that as well. So definitely check that out on our website. And also on our website as well, we have on our coming up on our streams is our Maryland Terps basketball preview, November 6th, the night before the Terps start. We're going to get ahead and talk basketball with you here. Talk a lot about the Big Ten. Big Ten, I think, is one of the toughest conferences in all of college basketball. So definitely Maryland is college basketball country. That's interesting in college basketball. We're going to go ahead and chop that up for you as well. Now we can get down to the business of the NFL because we had a Ravens victory last Sunday in Cleveland Browns Stadium. I can't get over that. That's such a dumb name. You couldn't do any better than that. Cleveland Browns, all those names of the stadium. 28-3 was the score of Ravens over the Cleveland Browns. Ravens were successful in that they take their record now to 3-1 going into the next game. And I thought this was good work, obviously, by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. This was more, a lot of people are talking about Lamar's performance, etc. To me, this was a old school Ravens defensive victory. The defense, the Browns offense did nothing. Now, it was aided by the fact, obviously, Deshaun Watson didn't play. He was a no-go scratch before the game. Wasn't able to go. I think also factored in that the Browns, a quarterback is on a bye the next week. So, obviously, it's a good time. If you're not sure, you don't want to re-aggravate the injury, give them 2 weeks to heal, etc., because you're not going to play this week. So, that factored in. How was Lamar's day? Lamar, 15 of 19. 186 yards, 2 TDs, passing, 2 TDs, rushing. I think Lamar was very good in this one as well. Let me tell you something about this guy, Lamar Jackson. What I've seen his whole career, he's very good in the red zone. So many quarterbacks, even good quarterbacks, aren't as good in the red zone. He's very good in the red zone. He doesn't get a lot of passing yards per se, doesn't like this, but he capitalizes in the red zone, capitalizes when they have a chance. And that's exactly what you saw in this one. Had a chance to get in, they get in. 28 Ravens, 28 to 3 are 2 T's passing and rushing. Good day for Lamar. Gus Edwards. I say it over and over, and I'm gonna keep saying it. He's not utilized enough. Again, 15 carries for Gus Edwards. Again, yards per not as high as you would hope here, but again, yeah, man, I just think they should run more. I mean, they ran more like this, but they kind of spread it around. They don't get as much like that. You give Gus Edwards a game where he can 25, 26 carries, so he can go out and bell cow this. Mark Andrews came to the party this week. So this was his best game all year. 5 receptions, 80 yards, 2 TDs. I thought that catch made in the end zone was beyond unbelievable. Great stuff by Lamar. Great stuff by Andrews. Just putting it at a high point in the football. They talk about high point in football. That was a high point plus. No way anybody allowed a lot of receivers to catch that ball. He made a fantastic play. 2 TDs. I think they kind of confirmed it after the game, kind of what I had been thinking. He had been a little unhealthy this year. I think that's kind of right. And I think this kind of broke out for him. They didn't have 2 of their receivers, so they used Andrews more, and he was really, really good this year. So good work there by Andrews. They're going to need him. I don't know how healthy Beckham is going to be. I don't know how healthy a lot of guys are going to be. They will, I don't know. So definitely you're going to need a healthy Mark Andrews. Roquan Smith, 10 tackles. I thought Roquan was outstanding, as he always was. The only question is, can Roquan at middle linebacker in today's NFL win Defensive Player of the Year? Because he certainly is playing like it. Roquan was outstanding. I thought the defense also had 4 sacks total. Good, so they had pressure. They don't have pass rush. I went on a rant about Jadeveon Clowney on the post stream. Stop telling me about how good Jadeveon Clowney is. Jadeveon Clowney is missing tackles left and right. Better than what we have, obviously, because they now have David Ojabo apparently all year long. But stop telling me about Jadeveon Clowney here. How could Jadeveon Clowney is? 10 tackles for Roquan Smith, and so that was a good defensive performance for Roquan. How did the Browns do? They had no John Watson. They had a third-string quarterback, Dorian Robinson from USC, from UCLA, rather, 5th-round pick. Tried to be too harsh, I guess. Didn't look bad always. It was quarterback performance of the year. Even the last one, that was kind of like just a Hail Mary, and so went ahead and got it. I put it defense was way too much for a guy that hadn't beat much at all. That's kind of what it is, kind of going against a rookie quarterback. Kind of did some disguises and kind of didn't. I'm trying not to be too. I think he kind of watching the dude didn't even know he was playing, so a bit too much. Ravens defense. Pierre Strong wound up leading the team in rushing, 5 rushes, 549 yards. I had Kareem back. Looks like Jerome Ford is going to be the main guy, even though he didn't have the most yards in this game. I think when they fell behind to run the ball, I thought that was the downfall there. I think they're going to have a good run game. I have to keep the line healthy. One of the linemen went out. Ravens, again, just beat them up. I think that was a big problem. David Njoku, 6 receptions, 46 yards. Not bad considering circumstances. That's kind of where you go. Your tight end. Not a lot from Amari Cooper in this one. David Njoku's pretty good. I think the Ravens, again, did a pretty good job on him. They didn't, again, not a lot of offense at all from Cleveland. Myles Garrett had 1 sack, but he caused a ton of trouble. Unblockable in this game. And like, honestly, every game, he's unblockable. You know, nobody does anything with Myles Garrett. I thought McCary actually did better than I thought he did. There were times where I thought he handled it okay, but I think that he kind of was baked into the game plan. They knew Garrett was coming on that side. They kind of threw on that side, kind of screened on that side. Even the Lamar touchdown run, they kind of knew that he was coming in. They kind of ran around him. So that was kind of that was kind of what they did as well. But Garrett was fantastic. He went out with injury, and that made all the difference in the second half as well. It was totally different without Miles. Miles Garrett is fantastic. Yeah, he's going to be at some point the highest paid defensive player in the league. So he's incredible. So there you go, 28-3 Ravens over the Browns. Browns defense is still really good. I think despite the result, I think the defense is still really good. Ravens were able to run the ball, which was a good surprise. They ran the ball really well. In this one, I thought the Ravens did well in this game as far as running the football. That was so important because they need to run the ball, especially without Odell Beckham and Rashard Bateman. So that's very important that they run the football. So good job for the Ravens getting the victory in that one. It's Steelers week. The Steelers 2-2 against the Ravens 3-1. So this game is going to be at the old ketchup bottle, the former Heinz Field at Share Stadium. 1 o'clock against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get the hate out to look at those disgusting, terrible towels. Wonder how they're going to act when they lose this game here. The way they've been talking this week. I've been doing the research here, doing a lot of Steelers streams. My goodness, they are really not happy with that last loss there. What do we have here? Lamar. This has been a season 794 as far as total yards, 4 TDs, 1 interception. Lamar's been pretty good throwing the football this year. I think not a lot of total yards. I would like to see more passing yards. I think that's the only thing missing. Kind of like still similar Lamar stats, good passing yards. Passing percentage has been fantastic. I mean, it's like 70%. So that's really, really good. Only negative on Lamar, I like to see more passing yards and ball security. Again, with the fumbles in the last game. It didn't cost you really, but again, with the fumbles, he's got to learn how to tuck the ball, hold the ball properly when running, hold the ball properly at a distance, things like that. Kind of can't get away with that stuff like he used to, maybe as far as running the ball. Gus Edwards, 44 carries, 193. He's the leading rusher. That's not one name, Lamar Jackson. I think Gus is really good this year. Again, I see underutilized, not using Gus enough, not giving him a series where you hit 7-8 carries. They're kind of just summing them out with Justice Hill. Saw a lot of Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, by the way. Oh, a fantastic catch and throw from Lamar on the sideline there. I thought that was the play of the game. The throw that Lamar made to Melvin Gordon. That or the catch from Andrews was fantastic. So Gus was good, though. Gus has got to get more involved. Zay Flowers is going to be your number 1 receiver as of now. We still don't know the status of Odell. We still don't know the status of our Bateman. Some of you may be watching this after the injury report. So, in seeing if guys are going to play. Zay's been pretty good. I think they've slowed him a bit, keying on him, though. I think that's what you've seen with Zay. Where teams are, without Beckham there, without Rashard Bateman there, you can focus more on Zay Flowers. So, but I think he's been good so far, definitely. Obviously, the best guy that you have on defense is Roquan Smith, who has been fantastic. 43 tackles total. I don't know if you can win Defensive Player of the Year at middle linebacker in these times, but I think he's been excellent. I was so impressed with him too in pass coverage. That's the thing for a middle linebacker and linebackers, period. He had a great game defending tight ends, defending in the middle of the field. That was so impressive because when you see guys They're really good. They're good at the line of scrimmage a lot of times. He's good no matter where you put him, obviously. That's going to be a big thing. Having Roquan Smith against Steelers run game. That's important. Don't know if Kenny Pickett plays. That's what he's done. 803 yards, 4 TDs, 4 interceptions. That's the stat line for Kenny Pickett. I don't know what to say about Pickett really yet. He looks okay. Not great though. Not great though. I think like the standards and everything that they have in Pittsburgh for so many years, they had Ben Roethlisberger. So obviously you had great quarterbacking all those years. We had Ben Roethlisberger. I think they're kind of holding into that same standard, which is not natural, normal to do. I don't think he's at that level though. I think they need to adjust that. As far as what I'm seeing, he looks good at times. I kind of don't know what to make of Pickett at times. He looks fantastic at times. He definitely can make the throws. He definitely can do good things. I think that's why they're on Matt Canada the way they're on, because he looks so good at times. And they say, well, it must be play calling or something like that. But we'll see how he does against the Ravens defense. Najee Harris, 49 rushes, 210 for Najee Harris. His line is terrible. He's like the worst guy to have with like McCaffrey like bounces outside a whole lot or anything like that. He basically is a guy that runs basically up middle. So that's the thing with him. It's very difficult for them to really get going when you have a Najee Harris with that line. The line is not very good in Pittsburgh. They're going to be making some changes here. George Pickens has been their best wide receiver. They haven't had the number one guy, Deontay Johnson, all season long. So they've been relying more on George Pickens. They've been playing a lot of Calvin Austin. The receiving core is not bad in Pittsburgh. I think like that's kind of also the beef they think they have is that the Squealers have pretty good receivers. Even without Deontay Johnson, they're playing George Pickens. They're playing they have Allen Robinson on the unit. Pratt Fairmouth, their tight end, isn't going to play. It looks like he's down with injury. They're pretty banged up in a lot of places right now. You got no Cam Hayward. You got a lot of the guys they have are really banged up right now. Like similar to the Ravens, there's a lot of guys that they don't have currently on the roster. What I just talked about when Myles Garrett put that in for TJ Watt as well this week. This guy wrecks every play. It's not going to matter who it is. He doesn't specifically play. I think they don't line him up every play like on a Myles Garrett. We know where he is. I think they'll move him more. The guy on Highsmith, he hasn't had as many sacks so far. He's really good as well. But it's not going to make a difference who it is. Even if it is Ronnie Stanley, it's not going to matter who it is. Watt's going to blow up the experience. This is going to be the guy that they rely on heavily as well, especially with so many guys out, so many guys hurt. I think they're going to make a lot of changes on defense as well, but there's nothing to worry about here. TJ Watt is going to be fantastic as well. X Factor in this one. We're talking about what is the X Factor for this game. Offensive line for the Ravens is an X Factor. So that is the thing again this week. I talked about the offensive line as a whole last week. What is the offensive line going to look like this week as well? When you have a Myles Garrett that's going to blow up every play, who's going to be playing? Now, we know more this week. Linderbaum did play last week instead of Mustafa. Patrick McCary, I mean, you never know with Ronnie Stanley how much he should play at all, if he does at all. That would be interesting to see how well he does. If he plays at all, you're going to have similar problems. This is a very good still linebacking group that they have in Pittsburgh, despite the issues they've had. They got 30 points last week. There's big division game. They're going to be motivated. How good is Kyle Van Noy going to be? X factor again on defensive side. Look, Kyle Van Noy played a lot of snaps right away. He's going to have to play again, random snaps right away again this way. David Ajabo getting bad news. I posted that they may not have him the rest of the year. The way John Harbaugh was talking, well, he's got decisions. When you hear that, that's not good. And Adafiowe may play, may not. I don't hear anything about Tyus Bowser yet either. So we'll see. Hopefully you can have Mon Humphrey this week. So hopefully you're getting some guys back pretty soon. But we will see how that goes as well. What I think is going to happen, 24-17 over the Squealers. Squealers have some issues right now. I think the Ravens do too. I think the Ravens kind of know what they are. I think Lamar Jackson is the factor in this. I think they have right now the best quarterback in the division. Lamar has been very good so far, save for the fumbles. I think this is the time where I think they can really put some separation. Steelers have real issues. They have been kicked on the first time I can remember as Steelers fans. And I absolutely want Matt Canada gone. They absolutely want. Offense hasn't looked great. I think everybody's talking about that. Defense hasn't looked great for them. Their defense is they're missing a lot of guys. That factors in. They're having problems with their corners. Levi Wallace is struggling. So I think the Ravens take advantage of that. 24-17 Ravens over the Steelers. And this is well. So there you go. Ravens went ahead and taking care of business, I think, on Sunday in Pittsburgh. Beautiful area in Pittsburgh. If you ever been, it's beautiful. We went to Ohio, me and my wife. It was fantastic. It looks cool there. I just hate the football team. Can't stand the Squealers. Looking forward to every time we can beat the Squealers on Sunday. So absolutely looking forward to that as the Ravens go ahead and, let's say it one more time, beat the Squealers. I can't get enough of that beating Steelers. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and take care of this for you as well. Big Five this week is going ahead, and we're going to talk about the 5 biggest games on Sunday that are not Ravens games. So there you go. 5. And the 5 biggest games that are not Ravens games on the schedule. Last week, Big 5. Daniel Jones, you got a problem. The Seahawks. Look, this is two guys total opposite. Daniel Jones. I don't know what the Giants were thinking signing him all that money. I can't. I don't really get it. I'll go a little deeper into New England and Dallas. I think Dallas won. I think there are bigger, deeper problems in New England right now. Miami, I'm not surprised. They lost. Their defense isn't any good. Finally, somebody said it after they lose this week, but I've noticed it all year. Their defense isn't any good. They can score a lot, but their defense isn't any good. So let's go on to this week's games. Good slate of games, I think, this week, even though some teams now we're getting into the buys. So schedules get a little weaker during this time of year because there aren't teams playing every Sunday. There's teams taking off. Jaguars and the Bills are playing this Sunday. I think this one is in London. So these are two of the better teams in the entire AFC, two of the favorites in the AFC, the Bills and the Jaguars. I thought the Bills have been fantastic all season, except for save for the Week 1 game. Josh Allen's accuracy. Now people can stop with Josh Allen's accuracy. I think Josh Allen's fine. I always thought he was throwing the ball. I think he throws the ball down the field a lot. I think at times a little bit less so far this year, but that's his thing. I mean, he can go ahead. Some guys, he's not afraid of interceptions. Some guys just are. Trevor Lawrence has been pretty good. I think the Jaguars around him have been really good. I think they're going to get a bigger fight from Tennessee maybe than what we thought. I guess I kind of say that every year with Mike Vrabel because he's a great coach. But I think they're going to have a bigger fight for Tennessee than what they thought. I think the fact that this game is I like to. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bills here. I haven't seen it yet from the Jaguars where they're defensively. I think they've also struggled. You can't do that against Josh Allen. You got to have your defense together. You're going to go ahead and beat Buffalo. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Jaguars in this one. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bills in this one. Statistically, I like the Bills. I think the Bills are doing it. How about this one in here for two teams that we're seeing as going in opposite directions at the beginning here. So we got a 4-0 team that really hasn't played up to their potential. They've kind of won 4 close ones. So you wonder how really good the Eagles are. I mean, 4-0 says something, but they're not, hasn't been very impressive in any of their wins. And you got the Rams, who got 2 losses but have looked impressive. I'm not as shocked by the Rams as everybody, as a lot of people seem to be. I think I kind of saw them like the Ravens the previous year, so many injuries that they had. They could be getting Cooper Kupp back this week. Nakua, man, oh man, he's been just terrific for them. I think the Rams offense is really good. I like them in this game against the Eagles. I do. I think the Eagles, I think their explosiveness, they kind of don't have it all the time here. I think the Eagles offense hurts, not explosive. I think if you take him off schedule, I think he has some issues. He's able to come back and do some stuff, but I don't know. Defensively, they don't look quite as good either, for whatever reason. Last year, that defense was just so good early on. Defensively, not quite as strong. I like the Rams. I think the Rams actually do it in this one against the Eagles. I do like the Rams this week in this game. This is a longer one here. I'm gonna go on here. I'm gonna talk about the Saints first, and I want to talk about the Patriots and what's going on and what I've seen. The Saints, I think, are kind of what I thought. They're in a bad division. I would say the Bucs have been better than I thought. Baker Mayfield, so far so good. Nobody wants to ever give him credit, but I think so far so good. The Bucs team around him is not terrible. He can play decent enough. They actually can do something in that division. I think the Saints will be okay. I think defensively they're not as strong. Carr is still kind of figuring it out. They've been about average. They're scoring and all they're not bad. I like the Saints. I think in this one I think they will show up. I like this. I don't like this. Well, I don't like the Saints' chances rather than this one. I think they'll show up, but I think they're a bit uneven as well. So I'm gonna picking the game itself. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take New England. Now you got probably New England. I'm gonna go a little bit on here. I'm gonna tangent off a little bit. Okay, but I'm gonna bring it back to the Patriots because what I'm seeing years ago in Denver. Denver had Mike Shanahan as coach, and this was in the late 90s after they won. And for years and years, they had John Elway as quarterback. Elway was considered a great quarterback, and it was his. I think some people think he's the greatest quarterback to ever play. John Elway. Elway was great for them. Closed out with 2 Super Bowls. Great finish. What happened was Elway retires. They go ahead and they sign Brian Griese, drafted. They went ahead and Brian Griese, by the way, I thought was a decent quarterback. He wasn't on the level of a John Elway, but he was pretty good. Mike Shanahan was at the helm, and it kind of went left on him. They weren't speaking to each other. They didn't get along. The fans started blaming Griese because he wasn't Elway. The coaching staff, the players, he became very unpopular. It was a lot of issue. Every time the Broncos lost, it was Griese's fault. Brian Griese was the reason why you lost games, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Eventually, Griese leaves because everybody loved Mike Shanahan. It must be that's got to be what it is. It's got to be Griese. Get him out of here. So then bring in Jake Plummer. And then after that, I think it was Jay Cutler. And then Shanahan was eventually shown the door at that point. Okay. Now we're talking about what's going on in New England. Okay. What's going on in New England is kind of the same thing. I'm going to give you one more guy before I land a plane and go to New England. The guy of this times, the Ravens coach, John Harbaugh, is a guy who has adjusted, right? As good as the Ravens have been, this is no longer Ray Lewis's team. This is Lamar Jackson. They're scoring more points. That's why he was so anxious to keep Lamar, et cetera, et cetera. That's what he wanted to do, keep Lamar Jackson on his football team, okay? He's adjusted. Mike Tomlin, despite the problem they have, they adjust. They do different things. He's always taking players in now. He's not just fire coaching. What's going on in New England is what I just said in Denver, okay? Mac Jones can't even get better. People can't even notice that he's getting a little bit better. He has a bad game. You're all on Mac Jones. Everything is Mac Jones' fault. Players don't like him because the coach and everything. Every time he goes to the building, all he sees is number 12. Every time I see a Patriots segment, all they want to talk about is Tom Brady did this and blah, blah, blah. The team hasn't adjusted. Belichick's still running the team. Brady is there, and you got a different guy in there. You're not even giving him a chance. That is going on in New England. Okay? They're not moving the team to where you have a guy who I think is a talented guy, but you can't get off the fact that Tom Brady's not running on the field anymore. Okay? I think they win this game. I do, and I think that they're going to show. Saints have issues right now that they're just not consistent enough. So, wanted to talk about that rant about that because I see that's going on in New England. The 49ers. This is probably the game of the day. Some people say it's going to be the game of the year. I don't think this is close. I think the Cowboys, are really good. I think Dak Prescott is unfairly maligned. I think he's about not elite, but that notch below. You could certainly win with that. Their offensive line has been really good. The run game has been solid as well. Defensively, I think that not having Diggs makes a big difference. Big difference, especially in this one when you have those great receivers on the other side. Brock Purdy's the real deal. There's nothing I've seen with him that makes me think that he's going to be a problem for them. Christian McCaffrey has been, you could argue he's been the MVP of the league so far. This roster is about as flawless as I've seen. The 49ers, I don't think there's any way to lose this game. I don't think this game is going to be really, really close. I don't think anybody can match them. I don't think anybody can match them when they're on their game. They certainly should be motivated for this. I like the 49ers in this one as well. One here, Packers and the Raiders. This could be a knockout for either team here. I think the Packers, Jordan Love, Jordan Love is not bad. I think he's a very good backup quarterback. I don't mean that to be too disrespectful. I think that's kind of what he is. So far, so good. I've noticed with Jordan Love, he can either A, have a good percentage if he dinks and dunks, good percentage there, throwing short stuff. B, if he throws the ball downfield, he's not that accurate. He's not a good downfield thrower. That's kind of what I've seen with him. The other side, Garoppolo, it's kind of he's more. I don't know what he kind of doesn't like we talked about Lamar Jackson finishing drives and finishing, even though he doesn't get yards. Garoppolo's kind of the opposite. He gets yards, but then he doesn't always finish drives. And he kind of like throws it away. Then he kind of, stats look better than what you actually get point wise with him. So that's what that's the kind of the detail of these two quarterbacks as well. I like the Packers defense better in this one. I think they'll do a better job against the Raiders. I think the Raiders defense really has problems outside of Max Crosby right now. I think Chandler Jones, unfortunately, they got rid of him. I think there was some legal issues, etc. I like Green Bay in this one. I don't think Green Bay's half bad. I think, but their quarterback, I don't think is going to score them a lot of points. I think they're going to win games when they can, win 17-16, 18-17. I don't think they're going to score a ton of points. There you go. Big Five. There we go. Enjoy all of the games. And we're going to go ahead and there we go. And thank you. Enjoy all the games that you're watching this week as far as the NFL. I say that a lot of the NFL streams because that's what I've always done. Enjoy all the games. So I want you out there to enjoy all the games that you're watching. Let's talk Maryland football. We're going to go a little bit more in depth this week. Terps 44-17. They go to 5-0. The 26th rank. There's really no such thing, but they're the team with the 26th amount of votes. A little bit out of the top 25. 44-17 against Indiana. I don't know why anybody thought this game was close. Indiana's wasn't anywhere near the Terps level. They don't score any points. It kind of went exactly the way I thought. Jalen Lucas on the other side, outstanding punt return, outstanding speed for Indiana on that side, and it was too much Maryland offense. Tagovailoa has really hit his stride now. I thought a bit of a slow start in the first few weeks. Now he's really hit his stride. I thought, what a day that Felton had. I think it was like 3 touchdowns. Their receiving group is really, really good. Jayson Jones, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk more about the Ohio State game. But I thought this was very good as well. Why aren't they in the top 25? Because they're 5-0, the competition. Okay? Towson isn't any good. Virginia isn't any good. They're at the bottom of the ACC. Michigan State hasn't been any good. Indiana isn't anywhere near the top 25. That's why you're not. Charlotte isn't any good. Charlotte, even in their conference, isn't any good. That's why you're not in the top 25. You haven't really played anybody. Even though, fair enough, they won convincingly in every game. I didn't like the first 2 wins. I thought they were slow starts. But that's the main reason why you're not in the top 25. All right. Because you got a game this week as well. Fox Big News Saturday. The 5-0 Terps, the 4-0 Ohio State Buckeyes. I think they're ranked 4th in the country. The Buckeyes are going into the season here. They've been outstanding. This Buckeyes team is incredible. Really, really good. Tua Tagovailoa. Great year he's having so far. 1464, 11 touchdowns, 3 INTs. I think he's been really good. I think he's kind of got off to a slow start the first 2 games, but that could have been just starting the season. I think he really likes to dice you up a little bit. Really likes to go the different receivers. He doesn't lock in on any one thing. Really throws the ball well, under control. Throws the ball out of the pocket well. Throws the ball in pocket well. Good throw of the football, I think. I don't know about NFL throwing arm with him, but certainly at college level, this level, outstanding stuff from Tagovailoa. Roman Hemby. They've been using Antoine Littleton a little bit, but Hemby's still breaking him off something. 64 carries, 309. The season he's done that in 5 games. Clearly on pace for 1,000-yard rushing season. He's been really good. He's gonna have a tough challenge this week against that Buckeyes defense. A lot of receivers to talk about, like I said, because he's been spraying the ball around a lot. Kalen Prather Jr. has been Kalen Prather, rather, is a junior, rather. Put that in. He's 253 yards receiving, 3 TDs. Ty Felton, a huge Sunday last week against Indiana. 299-yard total. He had 3 touchdowns for the season. He had 3 in that game. I think their best receiver is Jayshon Jones. He's also does kick and punt return work. 319, 2 TDs as well. I think all these guys are equally dangerous. I think what you see is Prather is kind of the flanker guy, like the exposition. He's handling the big, tough physical catches when they want to move the ball deep, the long stuff. That's Jayshon Jones. They really move the ball very well. He has a lot of confidence in a lot of guys. That's very important. That's what I've seen all year with them. Defense, I think, has gotten better. I think the competition hasn't been well, but I think the defense has gotten better. These are, to me, the best defensive guys. Their front seven, I don't love it, but Bo Braid, I think, is good. Kind of like, nobody talks about it, but watching him, he really has controlled the defense, really has controlled the field. He has an interception. Turret Still, you got to talk about him. He has 3 INTs. He did get hurt in the last game. So we'll see how that goes this week if he's able to play. They're definitely going to need him this week against this Ohio State Buckeyes group. Kyle McCord, that was the question. Okay, CJ Stroud goes into the NFL. What are they going to do at quarterback? What are they going to do? Kyle McCord wins the starting job. Kyle McCord looks tremendous. I thought he was fantastic in that game at the end against Ohio State, really leading them down the field. The Irish made some mistakes there, obviously. But I thought Kyle McCord was tremendous in that one as well. Definitely leading this fantastic group. Fantastic doesn't even say it. This, like a lot of these guys, are first-round talents on the offense. This is a guy in the draft right now, a lot of draft boards. This is the number 1 guy that they would take at the running back position, Tyron Henderson Jr. 44 carries, 295, 5 TDs. I could see why. This is a fantastic all-around back. Not backs, I would say this though. Backs generally nowadays are smaller than they used to be. They're going with speed, but this guy has power as well. Catches the ball out of the backfield well, runs up the middle, runs up the middle, can get the edge, seeing a lot of runs. Great patience. That's the thing with a lot of guys that they don't have sometimes with backs. Some guys don't run with patience. Seeing him run, he runs with a lot of patience, waiting. Le'Veon Bell was a great example, or Walter Payton, where guys, they don't just hit the hole, they kind of wait and then go. Let the block set. Some guys forget to do that. He actually can do that. The receiving core, outstanding, 2 first-rounders. Emeka Abuga is the wide receiver. I think he'd be the best wide receiver on any team in the country. He's going to be a top 15 pick. Anywhere 19 receptions, 263, 3 TDs. The only reason he's not the number 1 receiver on his own team, I think he's got a top 5 NFL draft pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. His dad was as good a player as I saw. Very quiet, one of the quiet great receivers of all time. I think his son, is better than him. I think in a lot of, with the physicality, he can physically. He just is amazing. Like, I see a lot of Calvin Johnson with him when he runs. Like Abuga, way he runs, he's fast and you know it. He's like a term like that's he just glides, right? It doesn't look as fast, but he's running past you. Jerry Rice used to have that. He just used to glide past you. It didn't look like he was right on. That's what I see a lot with Marvin Harrison Jr. With that great speed that he has as well. Steel Chambers has 25 tackles for also Tommy Etchenberg, also for the Ohio State senior has 25 tackles. Again, another first-round pick. TJ Tumalembo is going to be a first-round pick in the draft. Kind of not played as much, been a little injured this year. He should play in this one. He is considered one of the best pass rushers This one, he's considered one of the best pass rushers in the entire country as well. Very good defensive players. Defense, I think, not as good as the offense for Ohio State, but I think it's pretty good. It's not. It's not kind of like Maryland, but I think it's obviously at a higher level. I think than Maryland is as far as in this game. What do I think the score is? Well, bad news. Ohio State's fantastic. I think the only thing wrong with the Terps, look, they're in the division. I think with the top 6 teams in the whole country, like Michigan's top, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. I think they're better than everybody, and the Terps are in the same division. Go figure. I think this will be close. I think you're going to see a lot what you saw in the Michigan game last year. They'll have a lot of confidence going in because they're 5-0. I think it'll be close for about a half, and then I don't think you're able to finish out as well. It would be awesome if we won. I think this would really be a big statement. I just don't think talent level you're just not on the same. You're just not on the same. But I will say this: Mike Locksley, coaching wise, compared to Ryan Day. Ryan Day is impressing me less anytime I see him. He just is always with the silly stuff going on Lou Holtz and all. What are you doing, dude? So we're rooting for the Terps to go ahead and beat the Buckeyes. Big new Saturday game, 12 o'clock on Saturday. Definitely check that out as we root for the Terps to go ahead and be successful in Columbus. Did a baseball stream the other day because we got Orioles playoff games to talk about. So let's go ahead and recap the September the regular season with an Orioles September recap here. We're going to go ahead and close it out. What did the Orioles do? They did have one game, so we're going to throw it one game in October in 101-61 was the score. They won the last 6 out of 10. Right now, they are not playing until Saturday. They have the number 1 seed in baseball. They are going to go ahead and won. They are going to play the winners of the Rangers and the Rays series. That Rangers won the first game. So we'll see how that goes. There's 3 games as well. Let's see how the Orioles do in the playoffs. Did go ahead and definitely check out that video as well. Shameless plug there. Orioles recap and Orioles preview, player preview, that like that. If you go ahead and check us out on the channel, should be on all the platforms. Pretty good. One is our most recent one. Batting order changed a lot, but I just left it here exactly, pretty much as best I could how we saw it this year. At the end of these, Adley only missed 8 games. I was very impressed by that. For a catcher, he only missed 8 games. Now, he didn't catch all games except for that. They left his bat in for DH. They kind of moved him around a lot. I thought Adley was the linchpin all year long. I thought his defense was very good. I think he might be best defensive catcher. 20 home runs, 80 RBIs. I thought he was outstanding all season. Batting eye, instincts, leadership, everything you want. Adley has been everything you're hoping for. I don't know if it'll ever be, I will say, a colossal hitter. That 35 home runs, 200 and 150 and 100 plus RBI. I don't know about that. I'll take what he's doing all day long. It's been fantastic. Gunnar Henderson. I think you could put it in ink that he's going to win the American League Rookie of the Year. He was incredible. Voted most valuable Oriole. That says a lot. That tells you what his teammates think of him. That tells you what his manager thinks of him. That he was voted for that. I got absolutely no problem with that. I thought it was close. We will reveal who we have for most valuable Oriole, like the Orioles MVP. But I don't have a big problem with Gunnar being that. He was tremendous all season long. Average could have been a little higher if you have to nitpick, but that's it. I don't think he's great at shortstop. I think I would leave him at third base. I think that's where he should play. When Jackson gets here, I think you'll see that more often. But other than that, I think it was great. Santander, second year in a row, he led the home runs and RBIs. He's streaky. He kind of hits at times, and at other times he doesn't always hit. But I think when he's rolling, he'll have a 10-game stretch with about 7 home runs and 100. He's fantastic at times. Mountie, I think somebody doesn't recognize he's improved this year as a hitter. He swung at a lot less garbage. Thank God. His batting eye improved. He struck out a bit, but much better. I think he had 18 home runs. I think it was lower simply because he had so many injuries. He was injured he had 2 stretches, I think, on the IL. I think he missed. So I think he missed like 3 games. I think had it not been for that, I think he would have had his normal 20+ home runs. He was at 18, not bad for a guy. It improved that batting eye. Huge surprise was Ryan O'Hearn. He was a guy that just basically picked up off the quote-unquote scrap heap, and all he did was excellent. The thing I liked about Ryan this year as well, timely hitting. Hit the ball. There's certain guys that have a knack for that. Hits when you need them. That's what he kept doing. So Ryan O'Hearn, I thought, was excellent. Austin Hayes. Look, Heston Kjerstad is in the minors. Colton Cowser is in the minors. Why are they still there? Because Austin Hayes and a lot of these outfielders played well all season long. All-star season, good all-around numbers. Average was really good all year. Austin Hayes, I thought was really good this year. I don't know what kind of happened. I think he didn't play as much. It didn't seem like down the stretch for whatever reason. But I mean, production was there. I thought Austin Hayes was good. Bit disappointing this year from Cedric Mullins. He kind of dropped in the leadoff spot. He had a couple injuries. I thought he was kind of fighting his way back. I think he did lead off a couple of games there at the end. His average was way down. He was like 230-ish, 240, I think he finished up with. I think Mullins, I'm not so worried about it. Just got to make sure that he's healthy. Again, we will see the offseason what happens with all these outfielders in the minor leagues. Urias, I think it was pretty official that he was just going to be a utility player. He didn't play nearly as much down the stretch. I thought he played. I thought, considering the circumstances, I thought Urias did fine. Adam Frazier really struggled, at the end. And I thought Frazier, I can't imagine they're going to bring him back at next year. Urias, I think, I don't know either. As far as that goes, Westberg defensively, somebody's noticed. I've noticed no errors at all at second base. I think he's at the one. I think it's at third base. He's outstanding defensively. Kind of like Cal Ripken good too. Like, some guys like Jeter, Ivy Guillen used to make those flashy plays. Some guys like Cal Ripken, they make everyone, right? That's what Westberg is defensively. So very impressive. I didn't mention them, but I didn't want to mention these guys off the bench. James McCann, excellent acquisition. I thought he was everything you hoped for. I think when Adley didn't play, which wasn't a lot, he played well. He did a good job as the second catcher. I thought he had a good season. Jorge Mateo, everybody hates him. This role is perfect. Perfect. Come in off the bench, get stolen bases, run late in the game, play good defense on Sunday, and set. Perfect. I got no problem with leaving him. I think that's probably going to be your guy, utility guy, next year if they bring in Jackson Holliday. So I didn't want to mention those guys as well. So we was concerned all year I was about the starters and the starting pitching. Do you have enough? Hal Bradish is probably one of the best pitchers in the entire baseball, the way it's shaking up. What was I wrong about that? Because he's been fantastic. 12-6, 283, number one starter for sure. when the game is on Saturday, it's got to be Kyle Bradish going in that first one if you're going to set up the rotation. After that, it's a bit of conjecture. I thought was pretty good. I would say this. He got the benefit of run support more than anybody. And that had to be true as far as his run support. I thought he was doing well there as well. Kyle Gibson won 15 games. Again, benefit of considering he's got so much experience. Grayson Rodriguez developed. Could he be your opening day starter in 2020? Could be. It'll be either him or Bradish. His time has come. He looks great. Means also has been excellent. Short bursts as far as starts. This year, not many starts. Keep him healthy. John Means can be as good as he wants to be. Mixes the pitches well. He's been outstanding. Let's go through the bullpen here real quick. No Felix Bautista. You're not going to have him until 2025. He's not going to pitch all next year. Hopefully, maybe at the end of next year, they're going to have him. But he's definitely gone. He's going to go out with Tommy John surgery. Yadier Cano is going to be the de facto closer. Since then, no problem with that. He's been fantastic. That 2.11 average, that 2.11 ERA is probably the highest it's been all year. Kalana Perez, terrible start, excellent finish. Great down the stretch. He had 3 total saves, 354 ERA. Danny Kalembe has been fantastic all season long. Jacob Webb, they've been using him a lot in higher leverage situations, and he's responded. So they kind of got him out of there. He's good. Cole Irvin, I think they're just going to basically use him as a long man. I don't know how much he pitches in the playoffs. Fujinami, Brandon highlights him. He kind of keep using it in high leverage stuff. The other day, so he's not bad. I think he's kind of let us down a couple times, but not bad. Brought his average way down from when he started. Tyler Wells is back in the bullpen. I think Tyler Wells has been. I think this is where he should be. He's not a guy who's going to give you enough innings as a starter. This is kind of where he should be. DL Hall. Interesting to see what the future holds for him. He throws. I know this. He throws hard. His velocity's back. Whatever was wrong with him, that's done. This guy can really, as a player. Jack Flaherty, I put him in Cole Irvin. I don't think you'll see him much in the playoffs unless they need a starter or there's a bad start or something like that. See him as a spot start or something like that. Flaherty, I think. I don't think he was horrible. I think with the emergence of a lot of those guys, they didn't need him as much as they thought. So that's what happened there. All right. So that is the Orioles recap. We are going to watch some Oriole playoff games this weekend. We don't know yet if it's the Rays or the Rangers. We will go ahead and check that out for you as well. We will check out all the games. So this is the best month in sports as far as I'm concerned. It always has been with the baseball playoffs. You got NBA starting and NHL starting. You're now in the football on both sides, college and pro. We got a city poly game to talk about as well. So it's always been the best one sport, but even more now. I can't remember. Hey, look, Terps are 5-0. Ravens are really good. Orioles are outstanding. We got Orioles playoff games. So as a Baltimore sports fan in a business where I started to go ahead and have Baltimore sports, the enthusiasm is at an all-time high. So this is great for business. This is great as a fan of Baltimore sports. So I hope you all are enjoying it as much as I am. All right. Thank you so much for going ahead and checking us out on the Baltimore Sports Podcast, on the Baltimore Sports Podcast, Ravery Sports Podcast. So go ahead and we'll see you next time on the Ravery Sports Podcast. Have a great rest of your day.